broken screens and flashing lights, voices shouting through the night. Static hum that shakes the ground, Rift Nation rising loud, profound. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Steel strings, scream the truth we bring, echoed chaos, hearts that sting. Electric veins that feed the roar, heart of faster, crave for more. Dust and sparks ignite the air, shattered silence, do we dare? Tidal force, relentless stream, we're the edge, we're the dream. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Rift Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Rift Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins.
The engine is still
What's for launch? GC? Go. Guidance? Go. Fido? Go. Prop? Go. GNC? Go. Max? Go. Eagle? Go. Ecom?
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you could need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Happy Wednesday. Hello, friends. I hope everybody is doing well. My name is Joni Skinner. We are streaming live on the Rift Nation Network, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Please hit the share and like button. We are here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for forensic astrology, for the missing, mysteries, beyond the scenes. Hello, chat. How are you all? Boy, we have a little small chat tonight. We just have Lee and Denise. I'm great, Lee. How are you? Well, you know what, y'all? It's a holiday week. We had Memorial Day week, and I forgot about that, Lee. Usually, I take off on like a holiday week because people are busy, getting back in the swing of things. I thought, gosh, look at our little chat. It's quiet, but that's all right because they can catch up. They can go, and if you are listen to podcasts at work, Spotify, Apple, we're on every podcast. So welcome. And if you come on into the chat and you've never been here before, please say hello to us. I hope y'all are doing all right. How are you, Lee? How are you, Denise? Tammy is cutting trees. Okay. Miss Tammy's cutting trees. Tammy, she catches up. Like she'll listen during the week and then she'll text me. It's a lot of people do that. You guys, it's funny because in the winter we have a lively, well, we always have a lot of people in our chat, but in the winter we have a lot more, and in the summer, like all week, people will watch the show and then they'll text me and say, oh, I got to catch up on this one or that one. So I think in the fall, in winter, maybe like this particular case with Cherrie, Lee, I know this is a case that is dear to your heart. I may just review a lot of these cases in the fall from what we did in the summer. I think that's a good idea. What do y'all think? I think that would be a good idea. And then just review. Hello, Sir Ed Odell. Vacation. Oh, Sarah sends love. We send love to Miss Sarah too, Mr. Ed Odell. And as you all know, you might know, you might not know, Ed and Sarah will be getting married in one of my favorite months of the year, October, Libra season. And I know Sarah is a Libra. And it's going to be a perfect, I've looked at their charts, and I'm going to tell you what, She is a Libra. Ed Odell, with all that Aquarius going into your North Node next month, I believe, or it's July, that's your destiny. So you're going to start to have a lot of themes and dreams of destiny calling you. This is for all my Aquarius people. All of my Aquarius people, if you start to have dreams and start to think, why am I here? What is my purpose here? It's very, very normal with the North Node shifting. So it's a very, very spiritual time for Aquarius with the next 18 months. And it's a great shift. Now, remember, everybody, on the opposite end, we have the North Node of Destiny, which will go into Aquarius. The South Node is going to be in Leo. South Node is past lives, things that we've mastered in the past, things that we need to release. The lower vibration of Leo, we need to get rid of to work towards the North Node, all of the positive attributes of Aquarius. We're headed there too. You can already see it. You can already start to see the themes coming out with, the collective energy and mankind, humanitarian themes. It's really a nice, it's a nice nodal axis. Which Leo is my you are a Leo rising, but this is your South Node is going to be in Leo. So that means it will be hitting your rising. But your North Node then will be over into the 7th house, I believe. I have to look at it for you and let you know. Which, Leo is your rising. North Node is going to be in your house of Aquarius. It's going to be transiting around. So I know you're Leo rising. So South Node will be in the first. Okay, South Node in the first house. You might be going, I am going to take on some health issues, some health things. You may say, I may start working out. It's physical body. Physical body. It's what your personality, how people see if it's in your rising. So it's going to be, I might start working on my health things. I might want to get healthier. I might, a new health regime, maybe new diet. Doesn't matter, maybe a new look. But I messed that up. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Scorpio moon, Aquarian sun, Leo rising. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And we have Miss Lois in the chat. How are you, Miss Lois? I saw you in here. Uh-oh, Miss Denise. Mom's car blew transmission oil in town yesterday. Had to have it towed to brother's garage. Started tearing it apart today. Denise, be very careful with that Mars Pluto. I know it's separating, but we're in a Mars Pluto square. Just be careful of the tools. Just be careful of the tools. Don't be impulsive and just. I know you won't, though. Yeah, I was boots. Well, I've got some information for you on this case that I saw Lois popping in the chat. I know you're in here somewhere, Lois. I saw it. I'm so terrible with this chat crap. Oh, okay. Hello, Joni and everyone. Hello, Miss Lois. How are you? Oh, well, I've got really good pictures of the driveway. Which Leo is my rising? Leo is in your first house. Leo rules your first house. So the South Node will be going over that house, around it, because it's transiting. It's going to be interesting. Hello, Miss Lois. I'm glad you're good. Oh, yeah, Lois is a Leo rising and a moon. Oh, Miss Tammy was cutting down trees, took a break. Good. Welcome, Miss Tammy. I hope you all had a good a great Memorial Day off. It rained here all weekend, the entire weekend, but that's okay. You know, you get stuff done when it's raining. Get things done. Me and Lee are big time into this case. I've got some, you know what? I'm going to share with you all right now, and I know y'all are so into this case. There is a podcast, and I love this podcast, by the way. It's Crime Junkie. Crime Junkie. She is a creator, influencer. However, she also works on cases. She is very invested into this case. And as of things have picked up in this case, and I don't know if you're aware of it because it kind of just broke, girls, Tammy and Lee, in September of 2025, and I'm going to get into that. And after I heard this podcast this afternoon, everything started to make sense with the chart, because the chart was not making sense to me, and I'm going to show it to y'all with the facts that I had gotten. So let's get started. Hello, Sir Keith. Thank you for sharing us out. I just go get them. I don't use them. Good. Good. Don't use the power tools. Not during a Mars-Pluto square. Give it one more day. It's separating. Okay, you guys, get ready for this. I know you're going to flip out, Lois, when I tell you, and Tammy, and you and Tammy, I know, have just, you know, I have seen this, and it just happened a couple weeks ago with Vicky, a girl I work with. I love her to death, and she loves true crime too, and she will get into a case, and people that are into true crime, they get into a case almost like the spirit of that person or the soul of that person is just, they connect with a person that's among the living and the soul, because they can't get the case off of their mind. So they get almost like they need some type of resolution. I've seen it 100 times. So I know, Lois, you are so into this case, and I've looked at it, but there's a different perspective tonight, and there's more information. So let's get started, you guys. This case is, this is one of probably the oldest missing person cases that got notoriety. That really, I don't know if y'all, some of you don't remember that they used to put the pictures of missing children on milk cartons. That's where missing children really started to take, you know, people would take aim and listen to things, because there would be a missing child on the milk carton, your milk carton, when you went and got milk at the store. And it would just look like this, you know, and she was, if not the first child to be put on a milk carton. This case got national, worldwide attention. Okay. So this is little Cherrie Mahan, and she was 8 years old, and she and her mother were like thick as thieves. Her mama got pregnant with Cherrie when she was 16. So they were basically growing up together. They were very, very tight and close. So they had been living with her mother in another town, and then her mother wanted her to be in a safer area, just a safe area. So they moved closer out to the country. This is around the Pittsburgh, PA area. And so they moved out into the country, farther rural out. So it was a Friday, and her mother, Janice, always would walk to the end of the driveway when Cherrie got off the school bus. The bus would stop, and a bunch of kids would get off at one bus stop. Now remember, this is in the country. And remember, this is 1985. So that particular day, it was a Friday, Janice did not go out to the bus because their house was approximately, people said it was 500 yards. No, it was 250 yards away from where the bus let her off. The majority of that was her driveway. So her mother could hear the bus stop when she stopped at the home. There was a little bit of snow on the ground. It was February. And she was dropped off around 4:10 in the afternoon. A couple of the kids were playing. They watched another mother picked up her children, and she watched Cherrie make the corner. And I'm going to show you all the picture. Make the corner. And, they dropped the kids off. She was headed home. She had a sleepover planned that night. And that's why her mother didn't go to the bus stop, because she was gathering everything together to take Cherrie to the sleepover. She was so excited. And there's a picture of her mother. And there's some addition. Now, this is the road where the bus stopped. Okay, look at it. It looks like a Kentucky or a Virginia country road. Now, remember, in February that you would have been able to see, because there wouldn't be any leaves up. So as you can see, the bus off, and this is from the Unfound podcast, another absolutely great podcast on this. So as you can see, we're nearing where her driveway is on the left picture. The right-hand picture is the driveway. There's the driveway. Somewhere in between, when she turned this corner, I think it's that corner, she was taken. She did not show up for about 5 to 10 minutes. Her stepfather walked up the road, called her. They couldn't find her. They panicked, called the police, and within 15, 20 minutes, the police were called. They did see tire tracks in the driveway. Now, could that have been, Janice's car? Certainly. There was no sign of Cherrie anywhere. Searchers came out, did a 5-mile radius search, helicopters, the entire town, dogs, helicopters, people, search and rescue, nothing. No sign of her whatsoever. She had a blue backpack, remember that, and her Cabbage Patch, back then everything was Cabbage Patch Kids. That was her favorite. Her little earmuffs. Okay, and that gentleman in the picture, I believe, is the private investigator. I believe. I'm not sure. I believe so. But there's her blue backpack. Now, there are a lot of stories where, in between now and present day, where people have written to Janice, her mother, and said, I think I'm Cherrie. She has gone to every one of those, and none of those have panned out. So her hopes have gone up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm going to fast forward. And if you want to know a little bit more details of this, go to the podcast, The Crime Junkie, because she's actually, and I'm going to keep on this because she's keeping up with this case and doing a lot of the investigative work, as well as getting information and assisting the private eye. There's a private eye also on this. So what happened, long story short, we're going to move a little bit ahead to 2023. Nothing. Okay. Janice has received letters. She has received phone calls. Like I said, people thinking that they were her, and nothing panned out. Right. So 2023, she went to the local VFW. Now, I know some of our cities and towns here where I live, it's where locals hang out, is at the VFW hall. Go up, have a drink, watch the game. It's like in little rural towns, in areas, The VFW hall is like where you get all the information. So Janice went in 2023 to have a beer, and there was a gentleman at the bar, and he just stared her down. Come to find out, this gentleman knew her. They had grown up together, went to school together, right? And he had just moved back into the area. Now, if you recall, remember I told y'all that Cherrie and her mom had lived with Janice's mother, which would be Cherrie's grandmother, and they had some folks across the street from this particular home. And this particular man said to Janice, he moved back in 2010. He said that the gentleman that lived in that house across the street from Cherrie was SAing children. And he believed that Cherrie was SA'd by this particular man. Not sure, it was just alleged. Nobody knew. So, of course, she fell over, right? He was driving a blue car. Oh, I'll get to that too. Witnesses stated that they thought they had seen a blue van with a skier and a mountain painted on the side. Now, if y'all don't know, in the 70s and 80s, that's what they did to vans. They painted them out. They had these huge, like sunsets. They had all kinds of crap on vans. A van didn't go down the street that didn't have paint job on it. Like some kind of like a guy going down a mountain, a skier on the side of a van was not unusual. You'd see ocean things. You'd see all kinds of stuff on vans. The van story, and even one of the mothers that was at the bus stop said the van was following the bus, but they could never place this van as something that abducted Cherrie, right? They looked everywhere for this van. Everywhere for this van. Then there was a rumor that there was another blue car that may have been involved in this particular abduction. A blue car. Well, this gentleman at the VFW told Janice that this particular man that was the neighbor where they used to live was driving a blue car at the time Cherrie disappeared. So what happened is this particular man went to the police. They put a wire on this man, the police did, to confront the neighbor to see if he would confess, and it didn't work. It was a no-go, right? Not sure if they interviewed all the neighbors that lived across the street from Janice's mother, which would be Cherrie's grandmother, before they moved into their home where she disappeared from. Now, what had happened too is in this podcast, Cherrie was so excited to be moving into the new home. She was getting her own room. And then about a month into the move, she was starting to sleep on the floor. She was frightened. She told her mother she felt like somebody was looking into her windows and watching her. And she was very, very frightened. It got to the point where Janice had to move Cherrie out of her new bedroom into another bedroom closer to her and Cherrie's stepfather. So that was a little odd, and that happened about a month before she disappeared. Okay, so Janice didn't know what to do with this information because of the fact, it was a cold case. It had been 40 years. Along comes her BFF, and her BFF's name is Bailey. Bailey starts a Facebook page. Bailey is digging into this because by now it's 2023. We've got internet. Makes a big difference. They started the internet page. They looked into everything about this particular man. They found out that the neighbor, that they alleged that him and his friend possibly could have allegedly abducted Cherrie. And there had been rumors that a blue backpack was in a lake in this gentleman's property, correct? Again, this is all alleged. So, long story short, the man that everybody had allegedly stated possibly could be involved, he died in 2022. But he had a son. His son was in the penitentiary for, I believe, SAing as well. SAing as well. So the son was in the penitentiary. Janice reaches out to the son. So they go back and forth. They have been going back and forth since 2023, on and off, writing letters. She would go up to the penitentiary. He would not see her. They wrote, and if you want to see some of these letters, they are on the podcast website. If you want to see some of these letters. So they would respond back and forth. Long story short, he made the statement that he would have to find out that, that it was kind of like she was getting strung along. It was just kind of weird that the son of the neighbor said to find out the truth, they would have to look within the father's circle. So go to Crime Junkie. And that was in September of 2025 that they finally started to reach out and get with him. The investigator is on it. I think they're going to start to peel back layers of this onion. I think they're going to find out something is going to come out with this, because this chart screamed it's someone that she was familiar with. And I kept thinking, what is this? So after I heard this podcast, the more and more the chart started to make sense to me. And I'm not saying that this man who has now passed away had anything to do with it, but maybe he knows someone that may have. His son said it is within the circle. We'll have to see. And what had happened is the chart, the mileage was off. Well, come to find out, that neighbor lived approximately 10 to 11 miles away. And the chart was 13 miles. There's our mileage. So I don't know. A lot of this is alleged. We have to keep up with the podcast and the Facebook page and look for developments. I think it's going to break open. Something should. So let's take a look at the event chart. February 22nd, 1985 in Cabot, Pennsylvania, 4:10 p.m. Cherrie is the yellow highlighter. Okay. She's Leo. So the ruler of Leo is the sun. We look for the sun placement is the 8th house. Now, this is the house of the endings. This is the house of transformation or death. So there she is up in the 8th house next to Mercury. Mercury can be a car. So that is not a good sign to begin with. She's also represented by the moon, 9th house. That means she was taken from the scene. She is not within the radius area of the home. Because look at that 9th house. The 9th house is packed. That means she was taken away from the home. We got and it would have been a major or a larger highway, down some kind of a highway. Okay. Let's take a look at the perp. The perp is in orange. So we've got Aquarius, and Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. That's in the 5th house. And that's where pedophiles are, in the 5th house. Ooh, pedos. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't want to get us blocked. That's where that would show up. It's shocking. It could be shocking. It could be, that could be an attack. That could be something to that nature. And that perp, as you can see, up in the 9th house, we've got Mars and Venus. So it looks like we've also got a female that knows something as well. In the 8th house, again, we've got the sun. Where Cherrie is, the sun is an older gentleman, and I could not figure it out. This also could be the 9th house pact, could be people with really bizarre religious type cultish ways, like things like that. Okay, that's the 9th house. Like that can be like off the wall cultish things. Like, you know how they have the snakes down in Kentucky where they have all the snakes in the church type thing. You know what I'm talking about, with snakes, and that where they have rabies and they bite people, and they have all these rattlesnakes in the church. That's what I'm talking about, like a cultish, weirdish thing. So that's kind of the oh, okay. Look at the blue. This is the most important thing about this. Is the most important thing about this chart is the 4th house. Now, remember, we talk about the 4th all the time. 4th house, right? 4th house is the end of the matter. It's the IC. It's the end of the matter. Okay? It's actually, it can also mean unaliving, because this is the end. Going home. Going home is when you transformation. But what's important about this, and I had to look this up, when Pluto and Saturn both hit that IC, I was like, oh, here's some clues. Abandoned house in the basement, abandoned buildings. It's a delay of a discovery. She's buried. Pluto, Saturn together are remains buried a long time ago, slow to discover, vacant areas around the place, abandoned building near water, because and it be more like a pond. It's swampy water. It's not like a river or a dam. It's not in the water, but near water. Abandoned property, a buried grave. Something is concealed with her. Something is concealed with her. Okay, that's the 4th house. Tells, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the 4th house. Now we're going to look at the 6th house. Neptune shows us mental issues, a psychotic component. Known in the perp knew the family. Capricorn, the ruler, was in the 4th. The perp knows they know the family. The perp knew the family. The perp knew the family. So the 7th house is the perp. We've got, it could have been someone as a trusted authority figure, medium height, lighter type skin, can be distant, can be isolated, more likely blonde hair or lighter shade tones, and kind of unusual looking, medium height. I looked up appearance. I usually don't do that. But this has been 40 some odd years, so I looked it up, right? I usually don't do that. So we've got the 8th house, Mercury up in the 8th house. And I hate, okay, that, someone knows the secrets. Someone knows the secrets. Mercury up in the 8th house. In the 9th house, she was moved. This could be, now up in the 9th house can also be, like I said, religious fanatic. It could be a teacher, maybe like a teacher at the school knows something. So it doesn't mean they're the perp, because the perp is in the 5th house. Maybe a teacher saw something. Maybe a teacher knows something. A religious clergy person. Somebody may know something that they might not think it's a good clue, but it's a good clue, right? A weird ideology. Highway, moved victim from the initial location. Okay, so I hope that gives y'all some more clues. And I mapped it. Let's see what I got. Everything is to the west, girls. Look at that. Look at that chart. Everything is over to the west. There's nothing to the east. So I would search, and I should have gone out 13 miles, 12 miles, and I did not. I can, though. The man that you're talking about, Lee, the person that, the crime junkie that they were talking about, he passed away. He's gone. He's no longer with us. But apparently the friends may know something. Who knows? But yeah. So this is the mapping from her house. It's still a lot rural. Now, remember, too, I don't have a 1985 map. I used a current map. So we've got a lot of wedges in these areas that, maybe there's abandoned buildings. I don't know. There's a lot more to this. A lot of nice wedges to check out in between that area. So that is Cherrie. I think like this area, gosh, it's you almost need the gizmo or the DNA machine that Doc has, because there's so much, this is so wooded and there's so much around. When his technology is better, let's see, you should run it up there and drive around with the gizmo. Does farm show in your chart? That would be Libra is a barn. Libra is a barn. Pisces, no, but if I mapped it, we could see. Kath and Tammy moved from cement area to farm. Could be. Yes, she was moved. From the initial location, moved. Could be. The chart definitely says that. If y'all remember, when we have 9th house in the chart, they're moved. We saw that with Kristen. Remember Kristen last week? The 9th house, it shows us that they've been moved. And it happens a lot. I know it sounds morbid, but unfortunately it happens a lot that they are moved. Because what happens is the police go and search an area, and then they will move remains, thinking that area, oh, well, I'll just move it back where it was, because they think they're not going to come back and search again. Happens all the time. It's disgusting. These people are sick. But that's that. I hope that answers some of your questions, if that made sense. But y'all need to go to thecrimejunkie.com, and she's got the letters that his son sent to her from jail. and just all the information is on that podcast, and it's a great podcast, and she goes into a lot more detail than I did of the back and forth of conversations that they did have. The son, of course, the son denied it. He was a young man when all this happened. The son said, I didn't do it, which of course he did. He was young. So that's that information. I hope things come out on this case. I hope, but that map can't be any more farther west. I looked for highways, but I'm not familiar with what it looked like in 1985. So there we go. Oh, I think they already know. I think they know by now. In 2025, in September 2025, I think that the investigator they're working this case big time with these new clues. I think it's going to be solved. I sure hope so. For her mother and her stepdad, I hope so for the family. It's going to be solved. I really think so. Listen to that crime, that podcast. So that is little Cherrie. I hope she is found. God love her little heart and her mother. But look, there we go. There we go. So I hope that helps give some more information, shed some light. And I wanted to show this to y'all. I don't have a lot of the information back yet, but I did map it. I wanted to show you guys. We had in our area, Vicky came into work and said, you got to help. You got to map this. So we had a student that was getting ready to graduate May the 9th, an art student, Murray Faust, and he lived down right across the river from Cincinnati, went missing April 22nd, was getting ready to graduate, was an art student, fine. Everything didn't seem like anything was going on. Very, very supportive family, blah, blah, blah. And Murray went missing. So here's a picture of Murray, art student, went missing in our area. This was the last bit of footage that they found of Murray being caught. The community again stepped up. Our community steps up. Unfortunately, a couple days ago, they found Murray. Oh, they had searchers out. The map is the yellow area. Look where the map is. He was found where the pink arrow is. So the map was exact spot. Look at that spot. It was right there. So I told Vicky, I said, had we have searched, we would have found him. But, we don't know what has happened. The police do not think it was foul play. We're waiting to see. And as soon as I find out, I'll show you the chart. But here was the chart. And once again, okay, and here is the bridge. And this is in northern Kentucky. Now, what's interesting, and for search and recovery people, look at this stuff, y'all. This is what they used. And I know that Texas EquiSearch came in and helped, right? But it was Midwest EquiSearch, which runs out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They came in and searched. Wonderful people. They use an app. This app was on the Facebook page for people that were going out and searching. You would log in, and then everybody would know what has been searched, what has not. This technology is phenomenal for people that are out searching, because in the yellow, avoid that area. That's where the police and the dogs were searching. So people knew not to go there. So if you were searching, you would put your initials in and you would just log into this site. And it is just a fantastic tool that they had put. And I'm sure that this came from EquiSearch, because I know a lot of search and rescue groups use these apps. Michael and I believe Peace River does. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Donna. But this is phenomenal that we've got technology to this extent now, that when people go out and help search and rescue groups, that they know to stay away from certain areas and they know to help. Yeah. Caltop. That's it. It's wonderful. It is a wonderful tool for our search and rescue people. Wonderful, wonderful tool. Caltop. I used it in the flood area. Isn't it wonderful, Tammy? It's just, and I think it helps you all, search and rescue groups, know. And it also helps the public so that you don't have the public out tromping around in the area where the dogs are. It's just a great tool. You know, it used to be where people, the public was not really welcomed in searching. But when you have tools like this, absolutely have them look. You know, and people were searching. Now, private searchers or searchers that were on their own found Murray. So people were out searching. I imagine they were around on, this is the riverbank. This is the what's called the Licking River. Now this feeds into the Ohio River, and Cincinnati is like right a couple miles away, maybe a mile and a half away, 2 miles away. Cincinnati is a couple miles away. So I'm not sure if he was found in the river. We haven't found out yet. We'll find out. Very sad. So I hope, yeah, Caltopo. Yeah. It's great. It is a great tool, isn't it? I love the fact that technology has come so far with search and rescue. Yeah. And here Tammy's weighing in. It shows all your footsteps of where you searched. You log in and it starts tracking you. And isn't that great when people are out searching and you don't have to worry about losing the searchers? Because sometimes you've got to worry about search and rescue groups getting lost. A lot of those areas are bad, So here we go. Anything in the chart on that? I don't know. I don't know what that would be, Lee. What a cage would be. In the 8th house, I doubt it. I don't know. I don't know. I would say, I hate to say this, but the sun was in the 8th house. That would have been probably very quick. I think it would have been very, very quick. I think it happened very quickly. With the 8th house, danger was imminent. I mean, it was very quick too. We don't have anything as far as the chart is concerned. That would be like up in maybe the 12th house too, where somebody would be hidden, or if they were a 12th house and the 12th house doesn't show anything, but we got that packed 8th house. We've got Mercury and the sun. Pretty quick. I think. I can't, that's kind of guessing, but I would say 8th house, yeah. She says that a church, well, you could look at the map too, and I could look a church camp. Yeah, that 9th house could be a church camp. Absolutely, because 9th house is religion. It can be a church. Can be a church. So, does anybody else have anything they want to add on? I hope that helps a little bit. Go listen to this podcast. It is fantastic. If you have followed Cherrie's Cage, I listen to them on Crime Junkie all the time. It's a fantastic, great podcast. They're just wonderful. And I think whenever you've also got a private eye on it, I think it's going to be she'll find out. Think I think so. We'll see. Well, y'all I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that brings some information to light. We'll just keep an eye on this case, and we'll keep a big eye on it and watch it. I think that's the private eye right there. Like I said, this is where she disappeared. And it would be wonderful to have some closure for her mother, wouldn't it? It would just be absolutely, absolutely wonderful. And there she is with her. So I think it would be great for them to get some closure for her mama. So, but y'all, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Does anybody else have anything they want to chat with or leave info about? Everybody have good night, Miss Lois. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a nice weekend. It's a shorter week because we had the holiday. So I'm glad y'all tuned in. And thanks a million. And I will see you guys. Oh, I'm working on what we call the solar chart. Every year when you have a birthday, you can do an astrology chart. It's called a solar return. Solar return. It gives you the themes of the year ahead. Well, can we do them for countries? Absolutely. You guys are going to be interested in this one. I pulled up the solar chart for America because America's birthday is coming up. What are going to be the themes in 2027 for America? One main thing I saw on this chart immediately was financial. Something with the financial system. So I'm going to look at that. I'm going to pull up 2025 and see how accurate 25, 26 and see if that solar chart was what really happened. It's going to be interesting to see. So I'm working on that. I'll show you that next week and then bring another case. There's a lot of info on cases that's they're kind of breaking. So we'll just see what's going on as far as true crime and the missing. And if not, we'll pull up an old cold case and hopefully see if we can find some info out. We'll say a prayer for her mom and Cherrie's family. And we'll see. Oh, you're more than welcome, hun. Have a great week, y'all. Interesting info. Hope more info. I know. I hope I'm praying stuff comes out. I think it's going to come out, y'all. I think it's very positive. I think I think something's going to break. We'll keep our fingers crossed. So, well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I think it's just a matter of time now. It's coming. You can feel it. You can just feel it. Yeah. I don't know what I mean by that, but you can feel it when you're doing the charts. You know. You just know. So let's hope her mama gets some closure. It would be nice, wouldn't it, after 40 plus some odd years. God love her heart. She deserves that. So y'all have a great week. Enjoy your week. Oh, you're more than welcome, hon. You're more than welcome. I hope you get some answers. I hope the family gets answers. They're coming. I think they're coming. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week. Good night.